everything you've been told about the Giza Plateau is a carefully curated lie. For a century, mainstream archaeology has insisted that the Great Sphinx of Egypt was carved 4,500 years ago by the pharaoh Khafre. They tell you it's a solid block of limestone. They tell you there is nothing underneath but sand and bedrock. They are wrong. In 2026, a team of rogue geophysicists bypassed the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities using Muon tomography, a technology that uses subatomic particles from outer space to see through solid rock like an X-ray. What they found wasn't a tomb. It wasn't a burial chamber. Beneath the left paw of the Sphinx, 50 feet deep, lies a perfectly rectangular, lead-lined vault. It's a room that doesn't exist in any textbook, and inside that room isn't gold, but something worth 1.2 billion to the modern world, the source code of human civilization. Tonight, we aren't just looking at history, we are decoding the Hall of Records. And the reason they've kept it secret, because it proves that before the Great Flood, a civilization existed that didn't just use technology, they mastered the Earth itself. Phase 1. The anomaly. The mystery begins not with a shovel, but with rain. In the 1990s, Dr. Robert Schoch, a geologist from Boston University, noticed something that should be impossible. The Sphinx has vertical water erosion marks. To get that kind of weathering, Egypt would have needed thousands of years of heavy tropical rainfall. The problem? Egypt hasn't seen that kind of rain since 10,000 BC. This means the Sphinx was already ancient when the pharaohs arrived. They didn't build it, they restored it. But if it was built 12,000 years ago, who built it? And what were they hiding? Enter Dr. Elena Vance, a specialist in subsurface imaging. In our story, she leads a private expedition funded by a Silicon Valley tech giant. Why would a tech company care about a 12,000-year-old statue? Because of the seismic pulse. Using ground-penetrating radar, GPR, Vance's team sent a frequency pulse into the bedrock. In a normal statue, the pulse returns a flat signal. But under the Sphinx, the signal echoed. It bounced off a hollow 12x 15-meter chamber. But here's the kicker. The chamber isn't empty. The radar detected geometric stacked objects, thousands of them, each one the size of a modern tablet. This is the moment the investigation turned from archaeology into a global security incident. Phase 2, the forbidden tech. The team couldn't dig. The Egyptian government would see them from the surface. Instead, they used microdrill sonar. They drilled a hole no wider than a human hair and inserted a fiber optic camera. As the camera broke through the ceiling of the vault, the world changed. The walls weren't limestone. They were lined with mica and quartz. Why? In modern electronics, mica is used as a thermal insulator, and quartz is used for frequency stabilization. The room was a shielded server room. In the center of the vault stood a pedestal made of black obsidian. Resting on it was a single book made of thin film gold. But as the team analyzed the pages, they realized these weren't words. They were nanoscopic etchings. This was a binary archive. Using AI to enhance the images, Dr. Vance's team decoded the first page. It wasn't a prayer or a royal decree. It was a schematic for a zero-point energy capacitor. The Hall of Records wasn't a library of stories. It was a technological seed bank. The civilization that built the Sphinx knew a cataclysm was coming, the Younger Dryas impact. They knew they were going to be wiped out. So, they built a time capsule designed to survive 10,000 years of sand, wind, and war. They left us the instructions to rebuild the world. Phase 3. The 1.2 billion valuation. Why has this been kept secret? Why did the authorities seal the paw entrance with concrete in the 1980s? Follow the money. If the Hall of Records contains the formula for wireless energy, the same Tesla power we suspect was used in the pyramids, the global oil and gas industry, worth trillions, would collapse overnight. A single disk from this vault, containing the formula for self-healing concrete, or cold fusion, is worth a minimum of $1.2 billion in patent value alone. But there's a darker reason for the silence. The archive also contains the genetic map of humanity. The Muon scan revealed a second, smaller chamber behind the main vault. In it, the team detected a biological signature. Not a mummy, but cryogenic preservation. Is it possible that the creators of the Sphinx didn't just leave their books behind? Did they leave themselves? Phase 4. The global silence. As our team began the data extraction, the blackout happened. Within 6 hours of the microdrill's success, the Egyptian military declared a zone of exclusion around the Giza plateau, citing unstable bedrock. All satellite feeds of the area were blurred. Dr. Vance and her team were detained for questioning, and their data drives were confiscated. But the Hall of Records has a failsafe. The ancient builders knew that greed would eventually lead someone to the vault. So, they built the Sphinx as a clock. The Sphinx points exactly east. It is aligned with the constellation of Leo, but it only aligns perfectly once every 12,860 years, a cycle known as the precession of the equinoxes. The next alignment? It's happening now. As the stars shift into position, the black obsidian pedestal in the vault is designed to activate a low-frequency beacon. It doesn't matter if the government seals the vault. The signal is already being sent. It's a software update for human consciousness, broadcast through the very stone of the earth. Conclusion. The resurrection of the past. The Great Sphinx is not a tomb of a dead king. It is the emergency restart button for the human race. We have spent 4,000 years looking at the face of the Sphinx, wondering what it's thinking. Now we know. It's not thinking, it's waiting. Waiting for a generation that is technologically advanced enough to find the vault, but wise enough not to weaponize what's inside. The $1.2 billion treasure is sitting there, 50 feet under the sand. The question is, when the doors finally open, will we use that knowledge to save our future? Or will we repeat the mistakes that buried the Hall of Records in the first place? History is not what you think. The past is still happening, and the most important chapter is about to be read.